There she is, Mount Shasta.
Oh my God. This is insane.
Where we're going, there is no trail.
The wind has really picked up.
We're at the steepest part so far.
I'm so lightheaded.
My name's Kevin Alves, and I'm on a journey connecting to people and destinations in extreme ways. I got a thirst for adrenaline, and I'm on the hunt for my next fix. Forget middle of the road, let's go unpaved. So far on my trip to Mount Shasta, I've kept my feet on the ground, my wheels in the dirt, and dipped my toes in a little water. I've discovered what makes this place so special and learned crucial skills that will help me on the quest that lies ahead. But before I attempt the summit, I wanted to take in Shasta from a different perspective.
So I came up here to experience Mount Shasta, and what a better way to do it than at 5,000 feet in a helicopter. Come on, let's go. This is definitely the way to experience Mount Shasta. On the way, we're going to check out some awesome views of Shasta Lake and Shasta Dam.
Shasta Dam, towering over 600 feet high. When it was built in 1945, it created the largest reservoir in the state of California, Shasta Lake.
Oh yeah, you can feel the wind right there. So when we first got up here, we noticed that the weather only seemed to exist around Mount Shasta.
Right.
Everywhere else we were, it was clear and sunny.
It is probably the scariest thing to fly around, honestly. It makes its own weather. I mean, it's crazy. It'll be a sunny day over here, and you'll look over the top of Mount Shasta, and it'll be snowing. You'll often get surprised windstorms over the top, too. You got 100+ mile-an-hour winds going over the top of the mountain, so pretty scary.
So right in front of me is Castle Crags, and it looks spectacular. A world-class climbing area. Incredible, look at those granite spires. As soon as we rise up, you're gonna see Shasta in all of her glory. And there she is, Mount Shasta, and what a spectacular view. That's amazing. It's massive.
It's hard to believe in just a few days I'll be attempting that very summit. I have quite the journey ahead of me. I'm meeting with Brian from Air Expansion to get another view, but this time with a parachute strapped to my back. This crew is certainly passionate about what they do.
Paragliders like to talk about paragliding. Yeah. Yeah, I guarantee that.
You don't have to be an advanced micrometeorologist, but certainly there's a lifetime of learning.
Thermic turbulence,
Ultraviolet hours,
rotor from the mountain.
porosity checks.
It's obsessive.
Yes. Our significant other's got to tell us what's up every once in a while.
Yeah.
The heat rises, and we need to be in the right place to be able to stay aloft using the right amount of wind coming in. Tonight we'll more likely be in thermic lift, which is like you see the birds circling and going up, and we're hoping to do our best to emulate how the birds make it look.
So we're gonna be flying like the birds.
Trying
like
to,
the birds.
exactly.
That's it.
Well, in all that technical jargon, this sport relies on one major factor, the wind.
We're not quite sure ever what the wind's doing. Yeah. So we're about to see the windsock, and then everyone gets excited if it's like going the right way.
Sweaty palm
It's
moment.
a classic. And if it's blowing downhill, we all cry.
That's the wind.
Here we go.
Oh, it is.
That's it. That's what we want. Perfect wind right there.
Is it?
Yeah, look at that coming right up the mountain. Northwest wind. Perfect.
Basically, you're carrying around wings.
Yeah, carrying a wing around. It's amazing.
How did you get into doing this?
Somebody said, "Yeah, you want to learn to fly?" And I always thought I had to go fly a plane. And little did I know, it just unfold into it's a really adventurous sport. That's just a fun time. Everyone gets together after work and comes out and tries to get an hour or two of flying in and having a really cool experience where you kind of don't know where you're headed. And
Yeah.
So it's total adventure. And it's really fun to share. It's my favorite part, is to share it with other people. After a long flight, I always look back and just always appreciate it. That's the beauty of it. A magic backpack. We are 3,000 feet over the valley floor right now, and we're gonna launch off this hill, and we're gonna look for the nearest lift, and we're gonna shoot in this lift like he's climbing out there right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna get in these columns of lift, and we're gonna go as high up as we can, and we're hoping for 12, 13, 14,000 foot. We could be level with Shasta in about 10 more minutes.
Wow.
So we got you in your harness.
Yep.
Everything's good. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, and then keep moving forward. Moving, moving, moving. Okay, and off we go.
Okay.
And you need to just stay with it no matter where it takes us.
Okay.
And then it's 3, 2, 1, go.
While the thermals are good, let's do this, man.
I'm excited.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm putting a lot of trust in Brian right now. I just met this guy an hour ago, and now we're about to jump off a cliff like it's no big deal.
With that resistance, I'm just gonna pull the wing up.
Okay. So I'm holding my ground.
Yep. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go forward. Forward more. Okay, hold on, hold on. Okay, ready to run?
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is insane.
Welcome.
Oh man.
There are few things in life I have experienced that are surreal. Moments I'll remember on my deathbed, looking back with astonishment at what I've experienced on this beautiful planet. This is one of those moments, a deathbed moment.
Oh my God.
But as the saying goes, what goes up must come down. Kind of gives you that like roller coaster sick feeling for a second sometimes, you know? Getting a little nauseous, actually.
Are you? There's so much weird ass movements with this. We're going up, we're going down. I don't want to talk about it more, but
And then things started to turn. Yeah, flight attendant, can you pass me the 6-sack?
Not good. Not good.
I'm gonna boot you out the front, back to where you're hanging, and then we're gonna come at the ground and we're gonna try to run.
Good? Yep.
I'm so glad I'm on land.
You're free from torture chamber.
Oh, man.
Oh.
I am so sick. So glad to be on the ground. Getting hot flashes.
It happens. It's a lot of movement, and he's the passenger, and he was filming. So you're staring at the screen a lot, and there's a lot of vertical movement. I mean, we're just like totally.
And it's a weird
It's a trip. He's not the first for me. Yeah. He had those other stories about. He had 2 throw-up stories on the way up.
Oh,
I kind of noticed that too. Dude goes hard, and his stories are like, I went really hard, and then this is what happened.
When I started this adventure, I thought I was gonna meet some adrenaline nuts who jump off cliffs. But to my surprise, I found a community of friends and families who enjoy the outdoors and like to socialize after work. But instead of meeting at the local pub, they rather meet under a windsock. I did pay the price for this experience. Do I regret it though? What do you think? I have one more pit stop to make before the climb, so I'm heading to the Forest Service to pick up my permit, talk about the safest path up, and something else I hadn't considered.
So you are doing the Avalanche Gulch route, and the most difficult section where we see most of our accidents is right in between Lake Helen and Red Banks. It's the steepest part of the climb. It's where you're going to encounter all your rock fall, all your potential ice balls, slips and falls. So ice axe, crampons, helmet, knowing how to self-arrest, that's all going to come into play right in here. The other thing that I'll mention is that, we've got a little bit of weather coming in this weekend, and so sometimes what'll happen is people will climb in the morning when the sky is clear, and they'll get on to the upper mountain. Clouds come in, it may not be snowing or anything, but you can't see.
Okay.
And so it's common for people to wander off the wrong side of the mountain thinking they're coming back down Avalanche Gulch. Just about 2 weeks ago, we had a guy who climbed late in the day, descended the east side a little ways. We were able to make cell phone contact with him, got him back up onto the route, was exhausted, dehydrated, and kind of gave up. Unfortunately, he lived, but he spent the night out at 13.5, no equipment, and was hypothermic the next day.
Pretty rough situation.
Bottom line is, once you're on the upper mountain, pay attention to the weather, don't climb into a whiteout. Pick a pace, and it may feel god-awfully slow, but just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you'll make pretty good time.
Okay. I appreciate it, Nick.
You bet. Thank you.
Last thing on my list, target practice, but probably not the target you were thinking.
You do actually need to carry a human waste pack-out system. It's a bag and a bag and a bag, and this kind of explains it over here. There's a target system, and you want to keep all of your solid human waste on the bullseye.
So what if I'm not like a bullseye kind of guy? What if I'm more like a 7 or 6?
Well, that's gonna be, at your own, keep that to yourself.
Okay.
Nobody wants to see that.
Let's hope that maybe I'm constipated for a few days.
See you later, man.
Take care. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
don't forget, Shasta is an active volcano. There's still some fumaroles and steam vents up on the top, bubbling away. It's kind of sulfury. It's actually one of the top 5 most active volcanoes in the United States.
Okay, so while I'm up there, if it starts to erupt, I better just...
Run like you've never run before.
All right, thank you. Take care. Okay, so the Forest Service gave me a lot of information on safety and things that I needed to have, and even some things that I don't want to have, my do bag. But now I feel confident, so let's go try to climb this mountain. The moment is here. My journey through Mount Shasta has led me to this point. I put my faith in the locals, doing what they do and trusting their experience. But do I have what it takes to reach the summit? All right, so I'm here. Finally, after everything I've learned, I'm gonna climb Mount Shasta. My climb starts at Bunny Flat, where I begin a steep ascent of 1,000 feet up to Horse Camp, my last chance to fill up my water bottle. After that, it's roughly a 2,500-foot climb up to Helen Lake and Base Camp, where I'll spend the night. From there, we have the most treacherous part of the journey ahead, the Red Banks area, the steepest part of the climb, where most accidents happen. And with any luck, the summit. All right. So I just arrived at horse camp. This is the last stop to do your business before you have to use the dew bag and get some spring water. So I'm gonna fill up the water bottles, take this pack off for 5 minutes and float away. And then the next stop is base camp. As I discovered in the last episode, Mount Shasta is not just for adventure seekers. The spiritual draw is profound here. I met an author named Tiger Windwalker, and he gave me his unique perspective on the mountain.
Myself, I like to come up here and pray while I do this. This is not, for me, a sport, but this is more of a coming and a communing with the mountain. So
it's a spiritual experience.
It's a spiritual experience. It's also a very physical experience, too, a real big challenge. Many of us who revere this mountain believe it is a living being. There's consciousness in the mountain. Just like there's consciousness in trees and the clouds, it's always a good idea to thank the mountain before you go, ask it permission. This is a native way of actually doing things.
And apparently I was in for a real treat at the end of the day.
Sunsets are a big thing up here. You'll feel like, oh, this is a very magical day. It's something different than normal. Magic. There's something in the color, the vibrancy of things.
One of the ways that Tiger communes with the mountain is through his music. This song comes from 2 old instruments he joined as one.
I guess I'm the hybrid man.
Yeah, I like the weathering though. It shows character, you know.
Well, it works anyway. We all have a unique way that we can make our contribution, our expression of our soul.
Right.
I mean, music is just an expression of my soul, but I feel the water, and I feel let's have our voices together. Let's find a common voice.
It's inspiring how different people experience Shasta in totally different ways. Now I'm more ready than ever to have my own experience. Fresh spring water. And this is it, all the way to the top, because we're going all the way to the top. In the beginning of my journey, I'm filled with excitement. Like most adventures, this excitement can make the journey seem easy at first. I'm carrying a 60-pound pack, but you wouldn't know it because my adrenaline is pumping. But after a little elevation gain, reality sets in. The pace settles down and I'm realizing I'll need to really push myself. This is the trail. Straight up that. When it gets really steep, the poles help. Still got a long way to go. All the way up there. See those little dots? Those are people, and that's not even halfway to base camp. What did I get myself into? I'm really starting to feel the altitude right now and this 60-pound pack. But apparently I was just warned, since it's a little later in the day, that it's pretty soupy and the snow has been melting and there's a good chance that we can fall like 5 or 6 feet down. We have to be very, very careful that we don't do what they call post hole. It's so loose and steep. I just keep sliding. There's so much downtime for your mind to kind of wander, but you really have to focus on what you're doing. It's a big mental game. And part of that is taking it just a step at a time. You have to respect the mountain and the altitude that you're at. We're about 2 hours to base camp, and I have to start trekking through some deep snow, so I might have to put on my crampons here shortly. But I'm gonna try to go as long as I can without, because I'm wearing some comfortable shoes, and I don't wanna put myself in some blistery boots. Where we're going, there is no trail. It's very late in the day and the snow is melting. I'll tell you, I don't know what I would do without poles. This is steep. And the snow is super loose. Just keep sliding. Whoa, whoa. It's almost turning into soup underneath my shoes, which have zero traction. I probably should have put on my mountaineering boots instead of wearing my mountain biking shoes. But I'll have to tough it out and get to base camp before dark. I've never seen that. What is a spider doing in the snow at 10,000 feet? He's got a long way before he hits dry land. The one thing that I noticed is when you're climbing the mountain, even if you're with a group, you know, I have a very small crew, you're kind of climbing the mountain alone. Everybody's going at their own pace, and we're all in our own rhythm and our breathing, and you're just at one with the mountain. And it's really cool because, you know, even though you're with a group of people, you have this personal experience, and it's pretty breathtaking. Finally, we're at base camp. First order of business is setting up my tent for the night. All right, here we are at base camp. This is my new home. Oh, I feel like I'm floating. Oh. Since I'm the new kid on the block, I thought it would be a good idea to make my rounds and meet my neighbors. One of those guys has climbed Denali before, so I was keen to hear what he had to offer about the rest of my trip.
It's a give and take. We're considering the temperatures and the snow conditions.
Okay.
Early in the morning, the snow might be a little bit firm for crampons and ice axe. I mean, think about it, if you're coming down a steep hill and you're not really getting too much give underneath your foot, you're not really making a step for yourself. Right. You're gonna roll a little bit forward and you're gonna be leaning forward as you're coming down the hill. Potentially, depending on how hard the snow still is, you could be looking at something dangerous. We're gonna take a little bit of a risk here with the weather potentially coming in tomorrow. Yeah. And we're going to start later in order to give ourselves a better safety margin in terms of descent.
I see. I'm just worried about the winds. What did they say the winds are gonna kick up to tomorrow?
The last that I saw was from 50 miles an hour. 50 mile an hour winds on the summit are gonna be a problem. Yeah. So being up there in the later afternoon will be a problem. If you get clouds coming in with those winds, the clouds are gonna make visibility zero, and you risk the potential for getting lost coming off the summit, which would be an even bigger problem.
Right. So it's like, do I leave really early and deal with the hard snowpack? Right. Or do I leave a little later and get caught in a storm?
Right. So we're trying to ride the line right in the middle.
That's a risky line to ride. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't having second thoughts. With high winds and whiteout conditions tomorrow, it'll be the most challenging test yet. But enough negative thinking. I have a sunset to catch. There is nothing like this view. Look at that sunset. I haven't seen a sunset this beautiful in a long time. This is incredible. Maybe it's a sign of good things to come. Tomorrow is a new day. All right, well, I'm just about ready to go to bed. But first, a meal in a bag. So, it's 3:30 in the morning now. We're gonna head up the mountain right now. And as you can see, the highway of lights. This is where everybody is ascending. All right, let's get moving. With the promise of bad weather moving in, I'm setting out early. This next section of the climb, affectionately called the bowling alley, is where I'll need to draw on everything I've learned so far. But as I make my way up, I'm still learning new tips from other climbers, like the French technique. So, the French technique is actually kind of pointed down, right?
Right, so the super hard snow, or super hard ice, if you angle a crampon down, you're gonna get 12 points of contact instead of maybe 6, like what we're getting right now.
But if it's icy, you want to kind of do one of these.
Get down, get your 12 points, and then you're in a position of stability.
So it's good to learn some tips on the route.
And just after getting into the groove, Shasta hands out a little reward.
Look at this. This is Shasta's shadow. I've never seen anything like that.
This unique perspective is my payoff for the hard work I've put in so far. But up here, you can't be off your guard, and it's best not to turn your back for too long. Up ahead, the other climbers are digging into a mix of snow and loose rock. If the rocks crumble off, they can speed down the mountain like a freight train.
Whoa. We just had a really close call. There was a rock that flew down here. These people are up here in all these rocks when they should be on the snow, and it's kicking rocks down at us, and it's super steep right now and dangerous. And we just had a rock fling by us. Just want to show you how loose and crumbly this volcanic rock is up here. I mean, literally, I could just put my hand on that and the whole thing would just start to crumble. So that's why it's a danger, because this area right here is super steep. And when these rocks fall, they create a lot of momentum. We're at the steepest part so far. I mean, if you fall, you're going down a ways. That sun feels so good. We got a lot of wind here on this ridge though. And we still have a long way to go.
I've made it through Red Banks unscathed, but there is another big obstacle between me and the summit, Misery Hill. I'm guessing that name is a bit of a foreshadowing of the misery that lies ahead.
Look at this crevasse. Careful, that goes down a ways.
Okay, it's not a very big crevasse, but it's the first one I've seen up close. So yeah, I'm a bit freaked out.
Oh my goodness. Move fast off that. The wind has really picked up. Probably like 45-mile-an-hour gusts. We still have Misery Hill to do, which is all the way up there. Those clouds are rolling in fast, so we have to hurry. It is very windy right now, and this cloud is rolling in, and I'm really worried. We still probably have 1,000 feet to go.
The altitude is really starting to affect me. I'm dizzy and nauseous. I've gone 7,000 feet in 7 miles. Growing up in the Rockies, I'm used to high elevation, but this is really a test.
I'm almost to the summit. I am so lightheaded and out of breath. Would you look at that? Those are those clouds, and we gotta get out of the way up. Here we are, here's the summit. All right, we gotta get out of here right now, because look at that. If we're not careful, we're gonna be in a whiteout, so as much as I'd like to chat with you and everybody else, and we can't. I do not want to be stuck
in a whiteout. That's how people die. If I want to avoid a whiteout, the fastest way down the mountain is to glissade, but it's too steep here. I'll have to get to a safer spot fast.
Look at those clouds rolling in. It's not good.
It's common for people to wander off the wrong side of the mountain. Clouds come in and you can't see. It was exhausted, dehydrated, hypothermic the next day.
I went a little too fast. Thank God for the self-arrest.
This is about what we're going into right now. We're gonna be in a whiteout. That's our route, right straight down there.
So I was apprehensive about glissading with it being this steep, but a lot of people are doing it. So I guess, you know, if one person jumps off the bridge, we all do it. Here goes nothing. Self-arrest. Close call, but this is why we practice self-arresting. Coming down Red Banks is treacherous, but it's not just me having issues with this tricky descent. Turns out I just needed to get into the right groove.
Much better. Much better. This is fun, but it's also a little scary. Oh, you don't want to get going too fast. Woo! I'm skiing on my butt. All the way to base camp. Emergency brake. Ooh, you have to use some serious muscles to dig in the edge of your ice axe. Hooray, back to base camp. Right before all these nasty clouds. Look at that.
It's been the adventure of a lifetime. I came here for the full Mount Shasta experience, and she did not disappoint. My body, and most importantly, my soul, has been awakened. The people of Mount Shasta have welcomed me as one of their own, and I leave here taking their spirit of kindness with me to my next adventure. I met people along the way that made me see a different side of life. They embody the rich fabric of humanity that makes life worth living. Whether I'm on stage behind the decks or on top of the summit, the adrenaline rush is the same. It's about being in the moment and giving it my all.
Next time on Unpaved.
I'm insane, Wade. We got crazy Kevin. We're gonna have a blast.
This is freaking scary.
Oh, dude.
Get in the front so you're not in the dust.
Right.
Where's my parachute and where's my ejection button?
I'm the only one in the helicopter that can eject people, and I got to time it just right so that you make it between the blades.
A lot of people at Mount Shasta think that there's a underground city. Theos, I believe, is the name. And there it is. Look at that underground city.
I'm liking this walking stick, ladies.
Yes.
I did not want to do this. We're almost at 14,000 feet, and I had to go number 2. This sucks.